Hi, I'm Nick from Chef's Compliments, your personal chef service across the UK. Right then, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious pomegranate and wild rice salad. It's kind of a Middle Eastern flavour and it's delicious. It looks fantastic. The colour of the pomegranate really brings it to life. Now there are a number of key skills that you need to learn for this. First and foremost is how do you get the decent stuff out of the middle of this pomegranate. It's messy and it's fiddly, but it's worth doing rather than buying the pre-packed stuff where the flavour is kind of dissipated and is gone. You want the fresh ones. While I'm getting on with all this, I've got my wild rice cooking away merrily because we're going to add that as a cold ingredient when we assemble the salad at the end. Now, there's your pomegranate. What you need is something heavy, like a rolling pin, and you just tap it gently all around the outside. And what you're doing is loosening the seeds and the pulp that's inside, which is what you want to get at, away from the skin. If you didn't do this, when you cut the pomegranate open, everything is kind of packed together and everything's joined to the white pith and stuff inside, and it just takes forever to pick it apart. So give it a nice tap all over so you can feel it loosening up. When you've done that, cut it in half. And there you go. And what we're after is these little seeds. Now, having loosened it by tapping it, you should be able to just scrape them out like that. And you should leave most of the white pith behind. Now, you will find you'll get some in the bowl. Don't worry too much about it. There's just a couple of minutes to pick it all out once you've got the seeds out. So, having taken the seeds and the pulp out of your pomegranate, what you want to do is just drain off the juice so that you're left with just these beautiful seeds coated in that lovely fruit. Now the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to dice a cucumber into nice little pieces so that what you really want is for the elements like the tomato, the cucumber, to be of a similar size to the pieces of pomegranate because it gives you a much more kind of uniform and attractive appearance to the salad. Now the easiest way to do this is to cut your cucumber into a chunk like that, and then what you want to do is cut it in half lengthways, quarter it lengthways, and then with each piece trim off the seeds from the middle, which leaves you with a flat, vaguely oblong piece like that. And with each piece, cut it into slices lengthways, and then cut across those slices to leave you with nice little chunks of cucumber. Having chopped up the cucumber and got all the goodness out of the pomegranate, we're now going to slice up the tomatoes. And again, what we want to try and do is get nice little dice so that it matches in with the cucumber. Now for this, little serrated knife is probably your best bet unless you've got a really, really sharp chef's knife, but a small serrated one's good. In half from the top to the bottom, into quarters, and then very carefully slice out the seeds and the pulp from the middle so you're left with petal like that. And similar to the cucumber, cut it into slices lengthways and then just cut across those slices so you're left with diced tomato, or what we call in the trade concasse. Okay, so now what we're going to do is toast and roughly chop these pistachio nuts, shelled obviously, otherwise they're a little too crunchy. What you want is a hot frying pan, nice and hot, preheated, and you just chuck your pistachios in there. And what you're after is a little bit of colour, but you don't want them to go black. And it's not going to take very long, just like I said, so you just start to get a little bit of colour and you'll start to smell the toasty nut smell which will come wafting off them, which is absolutely delicious. Okay. So we can see there we've got a little bit of toasty colour on there and the smell's starting to come off them, so that'll just make a nice little extra bite to the taste of the salad. So we'll just pour those out onto the board, give them 30 seconds or so to cool down. What you need to do is just gather the nuts together like that in a manageable pile and just roughly chop them. Don't rush, because if you go too hell for leather at this, the nuts will fly all over the place and you'll spend the rest of the afternoon picking them up, which you don't want to do. So just gently does it. And it's fine if, you know, some bits are a little bit bigger than others. There's some little chunky bits and there's some bigger pieces. It's all good. So there you go. There you go. Roughly chopped pistachio nuts. Delicious. Finally, we're going to chop up some spring onions, some fresh mint and some fresh flat leaf parsley, which will all get mixed in and give us that lovely, delicious, zingy flavour. So, having prepared all your ingredients, what you need to do now is assemble them, and this is really the key, getting the balance of flavours right so that one thing doesn't overwhelm another. Start with the rice, that's your kind of base, that's your carrier for all the flavours. Into a large bowl. What we've got here is a mixture of basmati rice and wild rice. Gives you a nice kind of contrast in colours. But again, if you want to do it all wild rice or, you know, more wild rice, less basmati, that's up to you. It's about personal preference, really. So there goes the rice. Let's get the herbs in. So there's your chopped mint and chopped parsley, which go really well together. They really bring out the best in each other. Spring onions, finely sliced. The concassed tomato. The cucumber. And the pomegranate. Now, as I said with the rice, your choice of the ratio of pomegranate to cucumber, to tomato to pomegranate, etc., it's entirely about personal taste. What you want really is something that looks great, a good balance of colour to go with the kind of nice mixture of flavours. So get that mixed in really well together. And what you want to do is make sure that you taste as you go. So when you've got all those things mixed together, then you want to think about seasoning. So you need to taste as you go along, because if you just whack a load of salt and pepper in there now, you're not going to be able to judge it very well. So take a taste of it in this state. Excellent, but a bit flat, so you need plenty of seasoning to bring out all those flavours. So plenty of salt. Plenty of pepper. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now you can also, if you've got that pomegranate juice that we reserved earlier, you can add that in as well if you think it needs more pomegranate-y taste. The nuts you can mix in, but I like to put them kind of over the top as a kind of garnish, because it just looks fantastic. So get that well mixed in. If you just keep that in the bowl, cover it and put it in the fridge for a while, you don't have to serve it straight away. The longer you leave it, the more those flavours will develop. And like I said, you can mix the nuts in if you like, but I prefer them kind of scattered on top. It looks great. So there you go, wild rice and pomegranate salad.